Okay, imagine this for a second. You're at a crossroads, maybe in your career, maybe somewhere else, and there's this decision. It looks great on paper, could boost your profile, maybe your salary, get you noticed.
The tempting path.
Exactly. But maybe it involves bending a few rules or, taking credit where it isn't entirely due. Just a little compromise, right? A shortcut.
We see it all the time.
Yeah. In a world that's just obsessed with quick wins, flashy skills, that perfect resume. But what if I told you there's something, well, way more foundational, something that actually sustains influence, real success for a lifetime?
Something deeper.
Much deeper. Something that if you overlook it can make that shiny opportunity just fall apart. We get hammered with advice, don't we? Chase the next skill, update LinkedIn constantly, perfect your personal brand.
Right? The external stuff.
And look, that stuff has its place, sure.
Yeah.
But what if it's all just surface layer? A veneer that cracks under pressure? What if the real power, the actual bedrock of impact, of leadership that lasts, is something you can't put on a certificate?
Something internal.
Yeah. Inner strength. The kind that lets you weather storms, lead with conviction, build trust, real trust, which, let's be honest, feels like it's in pretty short supply these days.
That's a really powerful way to frame it. And it leads us right into, well, this crucial concept we're diving into today. We're drawing a lot from our source material, character, Ikhlāṣ, and integrity as the operating system.
Okay.
And what's fascinating, truly, is how this source digs into something that feels ancient, almost timeless, but is also so profoundly urgent for right now.
Urgent how?
It really emphasizes that, yeah, external stuff might get attention for a bit, skills open doors, definitely, but it's character that fundamentally defines who we are, what we really achieve, and maybe more importantly, how resilient that achievement actually is.
Resilience, okay.
So our core topic is character building, and we're zeroing in on two really pivotal components, universal, powerful things. Ikhlāṣ, that's about pure sincerity of intention.
Got it.
And amana. That covers integrity, unwavering trustworthiness. And look, this isn't just a religious chat. These are universal virtues. They're foundational for humans to flourish, really, in any context, recognized everywhere.
So relevant to everyone listening.
Absolutely. Our mission for you today is to understand why character isn't just, a nice-to-have trait in your toolkit, but why it's the true, indispensable operating system for leadership, for success that actually lasts.
The operating system. I like that analogy.
Yeah. We'll explore how historical figures, particularly Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, modeled these traits in everything they did, and critically, how you can consciously build and strengthen this kind of unshakable character, especially now with all the pressures today and, this AI era we're entering.
Right, the unique challenges now. So for you listening, what does this actually mean for your specific journey? Maybe you're climbing the corporate ladder, maybe leading a team, maybe starting your own thing, pouring your heart into it.
Or just trying to be your best self.
Exactly. Just trying to navigate this, let's face it, increasingly complex world, this deep dive. We think it'll offer some surprising facts, maybe, but definitely practical insights. We're aiming to go beyond just talking about virtues.
Making it actionable.
Yeah. We're talking about building a robust, resilient internal operating system, your character OS. Something that lets you handle external challenges with clarity, with purpose, conviction. This isn't just theory to chew on.
No, it's a blueprint.
It's a blueprint for lasting excellence.
Yeah.
Personal, professional.
Yeah.
Making character your most powerful, most enduring asset. Building from the inside out so that whatever you build on top, it actually stands.
A solid foundation.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Maybe a little counterintuitive, right? In our world that's so focused on achievement.
The metrics, the titles.
Right. Our source material hits us right away with this powerful truth. Maybe an inconvenient one. Skills, titles. They might get you in the door, get you the interview, maybe the first promotion, maybe even some fleeting headlines.
The initial buzz.
Exactly. But character, that's what keeps you there.
Yeah.
That's what sustains your influence. Not just for a moment, but like for a lifetime. It's what earns you real loyalty, not just people doing what they're told. It builds a legacy that actually means something.
It's the long game.
Totally. I mean, think about it. How many incredibly skilled people have we seen? Brilliant, maybe. Rise fast, get all the accolades, the power.
And then a spectacular crash.
Exactly. Sometimes very publicly. Why? Often it boils down to a fundamental lack of character. We see it everywhere. Every industry. Seems like every news cycle.
It's a recurring pattern.
And these aren't just isolated incidents, right? They highlight this vital difference. Short-term gains, often driven by killer technical skills or networking or just playing the game well.
Versus long-term sustainable impact.
Which almost always comes down to integrity, sincerity, reliability. Skills are like the apps on your phone.
Yeah.
Powerful, useful for specific jobs.
Right, specialized tools.
But character, that's the operating system itself. And if that OS is corrupted or buggy, unstable, well, even the fanciest apps are going to crash.
Yeah.
Or become unreliable.
Yeah.
Or just not work right.
That's a great analogy. And if we look at the historical picture, the precedent our source material highlights, it's just a profound illustration of this. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was known as the most truthful, the most trustworthy. Al-Amīn.
Yeah.
And this was long before his prophethood. Before he delivered a single divine message, this wasn't, a title someone gave him, not an honorific bestowed by some authority.
It wasn't a sign.
No, it was a reputation he earned,
Right.
forged through consistent, observable character right from his youth. The people in his community in Makkah, they recognized this. It was implicit.
They just knew it about him.
They did. And what's truly astonishing, really instructive, is that even later, when they fiercely opposed his message, when they were trying to harm him, undermine everything he stood for.
Even then,
They still acknowledged this core aspect of his character. They might have hated his religious teachings, but they couldn't deny the man's honesty. His reliability, it speaks volumes, doesn't it? That even his staunchest enemies kept entrusting their valuables to him.
Wait, really? While actively opposing him?
Yes, knowing he would never betray that trust, that kind of trust, that bedrock credibility. You can't fake that. You can't market it. It's deep. It's recognized. It cuts across personal feelings, politics, religion.
Wow.
It really shows that character is observed, demonstrated through action, consistently, not just the label you stick on yourself, that pre-prophethood reputation. It just underscores that character is like this universal language of trust, understood even by those you're in conflict with.
And think about how incredibly, almost painfully relevant that is right now for you listening. In this world just saturated with misinformation, fake news.
It's overwhelming.
Totally. And deepfakes, where anyone can seem to say or do anything. And this constant depressing stream of corporate scandals that just tanks public trust.
Trust is at a low ebb.
Exactly. In that environment, character isn't just a nice to have. It's the indispensable differentiator. For you as an individual trying to navigate all this, it's what separates authentic, lasting leadership from just being famous for 5 minutes.
More notorious.
Right. When information is so easily twisted, when trust is so fragile, the person who consistently, clearly shows real character, they become like a beacon.
Someone you can actually rely on.
Yeah. People gravitate towards them. Their word actually means something. This whole landscape makes true character not just valuable, but maybe the single most crucial asset anyone can have today.
And psychology backs this up. Studies show trust, once it's broken, is incredibly hard to rebuild, even a small breach.
Years of effort, gone.
Exactly. So for you, cultivating strong character isn't just about being a good person. It's about building this unshakable foundation, something that lets you cut through all the noise, stand on solid ground, and actually influence a world that's desperate for authenticity.
Okay, let's dive into this first critical piece. The pure engine driving real character, Ikhlāṣ.
Ikhlāṣ, sincerity.
Right, it's a powerful Arabic term. Translates roughly to sincerity of intention. Our source material says it's about doing things purely for a higher purpose, as it says purely for Allah. But crucially, not for external recognition, not for applause or validation, or even just to look good.
It's about the why behind the action.
Exactly, making sure your internal motivation is pristine, untainted by wanting praise or accolades or just visibility. The nuance is huge, isn't it? It shifts the focus completely, away from what others see or think towards what's really driving you inside.
Internal versus external validation.
Yeah. Like think of an artist who paints just for the love of it, the joy of creating something meaningful, not just thinking about sales or reviews. That's Ikhlāṣ.
That intrinsic motivation.
Right. Apply that to your work life.
Yeah.
It's the difference between doing something to look good, maybe tick a box, impress the boss, versus doing it because it is good, because it aligns with your values, because it'll genuinely help your team or your customers.
It's that deep satisfaction of aligned effort, when your internal compass guides the action.
Yeah, exactly, your compass.
So this raises a key question. What's the deep wisdom here? Why this huge emphasis on absolute sincerity, this pure purpose? Well, the Quran itself says they were only commanded to worship Allah, being sincere to him in religion. That's from Surah 98, verse 5.
Okay.
Now, yeah, it's a religious text, but the implications are universal, profound. If you break it down, it's saying the very essence of devotion, and you could extend that to any truly meaningful action lies in its sincerity.
Sincerity is the core.
It links sincerity directly to purpose, meaning
Right.
without that genuine, untainted intention, even actions that look good on the outside can become, well, hollow, empty gestures.
Hmm.
And from a psychological angle, Ikhlāṣ actually reduces internal conflict. When your actions are purely aligned with a higher purpose, you stop wasting energy managing how things look, worrying what others think, calculating rewards.
Frees up mental space.
Exactly. It frees up cognitive load, allows for deeper focus, more creativity, more resilient decisions. It's the foundation for what psychologists call flow states, being totally absorbed, driven by intrinsic motivation, not external pressure.
So your internal compass needs to point towards the real aim, not just the applause meter.
Precisely. And what's fascinating, looking at the Sirah example in our sources, the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, is how he embodied this. He'd pray, serve others quietly, often late at night when no one was watching.
Unseen dedication.
Totally. His actions weren't for an audience. They were rooted deep in his personal commitment, his sincere intention. You picture him in quiet solitude, praying, or helping the most vulnerable people, widows, orphans, the poor, not looking for thanks, not needing acknowledgement.
No social media feed to curate.
Right. No PR team, just driven by inner purpose. That quiet dedication, zero need for external validation. That's the hallmark of true Ikhlāṣ. It shows the power of intention when it's an internal, self-sustaining force. Independent of anyone watching, it resonates, even now.
So, okay, what does this mean for leadership today? For your professional life? In a world that often screams for performance, for public display?
Well, sincere intentions, they purify decisions, make them more ethical, more aligned with the greater good. And critically, they act as this powerful shield against corruption.
How so? Because when you're driven by purpose, not just personal gain or crafting some image, you're way less susceptible to those temptations, right? The ones that often come with power, those easy-looking shortcuts.
Your anchor is stronger.
Yeah. So for you, as a professional in these complex, high-pressure places, it means regularly checking that internal compass. Asking yourself, am I doing this for applause, for the next promotion, for the metrics?
Yeah.
Or am I driven by something deeper, by what's right, what's truly impactful?
That internal audit.
Exactly. And here's where it gets tricky, maybe counterintuitive again. Sometimes practicing Ikhlāṣ might mean taking a stand that's unpopular, that might temporarily hurt your brand or delay some reward.
Doing the right thing isn't always the easy thing.
No. It might mean saying no to a project that looks good on paper but just doesn't feel right, or giving credit where it's really due, even if it means you shine a little less brightly. But ultimately, this constant check-in on your motives, that is the practice of Ikhlāṣ.
It's the work.
It's the work, ensuring your efforts are fueled by genuine intent, which leads to more meaningful, more resilient, and, more ethical outcomes.
Yeah.
Building that long-term influence, not just fleeting fame. Okay, moving on to the second pillar. Equally crucial, amana, integrity.
Trustworthiness.
Yes, and this concept is incredibly powerful. It's like the currency of trust itself. Our source highlights this remarkable fact about Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He was famously called Al-Amīn, the trustworthy.
Al-Amīn.
But here's the kicker. It wasn't just his followers calling him that, not just his friends. What's truly extraordinary is that even his fiercest enemies use that title for him. The very people fighting his message, trying to undermine him, plotting against him. That's astounding, isn't it? It just emphasizes this universal recognition of his integrity, a quality that went beyond personal beliefs, politics, tribal stuff. It was undeniable, even if they hated everything else about him.
It speaks to a level of integrity that's almost absolute, unassailable.
Found.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, there's that incredible story that just illustrates this. The Quraysh, the ruling tribe in Makkah, actively persecuting him, opposing his message.
The main antagonists.
Right. They still, astonishingly, entrusted their most valuable possessions to him for safekeeping.
Get out.
Seriously.
Seriously, imagine the psychology there. You're actively trying to shut someone down, maybe even worse, yet you have such undeniable faith in their honesty that you hand over your gold, your documents, your most precious things.
It's hard to wrap your head around. It speaks volumes, doesn't it, about a trust that transcended everything else, built on years, decades of consistent, unimpeachable integrity. It's just this powerful demonstration that integrity is fundamental, a human value recognized even by adversaries.
Like a core human need almost, to trust.
Perhaps. Neurologically, integrity builds trust. It activates those centers in the brain, releases oxytocin. It creates bonds, even in conflict. It shows that character, specifically integrity, can bridge gaps that nothing else can. It fosters stability even when things are turbulent.
The ultimate bond builder. Wow.
So this brings up a vital question. What does this tell us about the ultimate currency of leadership? In any time, any place.
It has to be trust. Right. Built on integrity.
Exactly. Integrity builds credibility, and credibility is arguably the most valuable currency anyone, especially leader, can possess. It's the absolute foundation. Everything else is built on it. Influence, collaboration, progress.
Without it, things fall apart.
They do. When you're credible, you earn respect naturally. You foster deep loyalty, not out of fear, but genuine belief.
Yeah.
People trust your word, your intentions, so effective action becomes possible.
And the reverse is true, too.
Absolutely. Without credibility, the best plans, the most charismatic speeches, the smartest strategies, they eventually fail because the underlying trust just isn't there. As a leader, your words have weight because your history is honest. Your decisions are accepted because your motives seem pure. It's that silent force that makes everything work.
And when it's missing?
Everything crumbles. Think about the trust crisis in so many institutions today. It's a direct result of an integrity deficit.
Right. So for you, listening, this translates directly into action. Today, what does it look like?
Well, it means embracing, maybe even radical transparency in your dealings, even when it's awkward.
Being upfront.
Yes. Unwavering honesty in communication. Emails, presentations, tough conversations with colleagues, and absolute reliability. Your word is your bond.
If you say you'll do it, you do it.
Precisely. People know instinctively it will get done. To standard. On time. When you share your view, they know it's genuine, not spun for self-interest. This builds that reputation, not just competence, but deep dependability. Moral steadfastness, that's invaluable.
It makes you the person others rely on. Trust implicitly. The bedrock.
Exactly. In an age where so many relationships feel transactional, that commitment to amana makes you stand out, makes you truly indispensable.
Okay, and you mentioned AI earlier. How does integrity connect there? That seems critical.
Oh, absolutely critical. What's fascinating and maybe a bit scary is how integrity becomes the safeguard. It ensures that this incredibly powerful technology actually serves humanity rather than exploits it.
Without integrity, AI could be dangerous.
Potentially catastrophic. Imagine an integrity deficit in AI development.
Yeah.
Algorithms designed with hidden biases that just reinforce inequality. Data misused for surveillance or manipulation. Autonomous systems deployed without proper ethical checks, without explainability.
Nightmare scenarios.
They are. And they highlight this urgent ethical imperative. Integrity demands transparency in AI models. We need to know how they decide. It demands fairness in how they're used, ensuring equitable outcomes. And it demands accountability, who's responsible when things go wrong.
So Amana is the moral compass for AI.
It must be. Without it, AI's power could undermine autonomy, destroy privacy, destabilize trust globally. Integrity guides us to ensure these tools enhance well-being, foster trust, not diminish it. It's not just about what AI can do, but what it should do, guided by unwavering human principles.
Okay, let's unpack the how. Because character isn't like a superpower that just shows up when you need it in a crisis, right?
No, definitely not. It's not instantaneous.
Our sources are really clear on this. Character is forged. In the crucible, they say, of daily habits. Consistent, intentional effort. Not sporadic heroism or big, grand gestures.
It's the small things, done consistently.
Exactly. Those small, everyday choices, the quiet moments of reflection, deliberate acts of integrity, consciously committing to sincerity. That's what slowly, surely builds that resilient core.
It's like building muscle.
Yeah, good analogy. You don't get strong lifting weights once a month. You do it through consistent, disciplined workouts, day in, day out. Character's the same. An ongoing, incremental process, continuously upgrading that internal operating system.
One small patch, one choice at a time.
And often in the unseen moments, right?
Yeah.
When no one's watching.
Yeah.
That's where the real building happens.
Precisely. So this brings up the question, what specific practices actually help us build this internal OS our sources talk about? Drawing from timeless wisdom, like the Sirah,
Okay, yeah. What are they?
Our source highlights several key areas. It offers a pretty practical framework. First, there's the critical practice of daily self-reflection and accountability. It's known as muhasabah.
Muhasabah. Yeah.
This isn't just, navel-gazing. It's a disciplined, structured internal audit. Regularly checking in with yourself, consciously, honestly evaluating your actions, your words, and, critically your intentions through the day.
Like a daily review.
Sort of. Asking, why did I do that? Was my intention really pure? Or was I maybe looking for a bit of recognition? Did I live up to my values there? Where could I have done better? It's like keeping a moral scorecard. Constant internal course correction.
That's intense.
It's not about beating yourself up, though. It's about conscious growth, seeing your blind spots, proactively reinforcing the good habits. By doing muhasabah consistently, you stop small compromises from turning into big character flaws. You keep that internal compass tuned.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next?
Second, there's this profound emphasis on consistency between your private and public life.
Walking the talk.
Exactly. Living the same values behind closed doors in your most private moments as you do out in public, on the big stage. No two-faced stuff. No work persona that's totally different from who you are at home.
Authenticity across the board.
Right. True character demands that seamlessness, where your core values are constant no matter the audience or context. Think about the energy it takes to keep switching masks.
Exhausting.
Totally. This consistency builds deep self-trust. It eliminates that internal friction, that cognitive dissonance from juggling multiple identities. When your public and private selves align, there's this sense of inner peace, integrity. That's a powerful source of resilience. It's not just ethical, it's psychologically freeing.
Congruence. Okay, what else?
And third, the source points to actively cultivating habits of honesty, humility, and forgiveness. These aren't just passive traits you either have or don't. They're active daily practices.
Practices. How so?
Well, honesty means facing hard truths, speaking openly, transparently, representing things accurately even when it's uncomfortable or puts you at a disadvantage, owning mistakes fully.
No sugarcoating.
Right. Humility means knowing your limits, being genuinely open to learning from others, recognizing others' contributions without ego getting in the way, seeing yourself as part of something bigger, not the center of it all.
Checking the ego.
Definitely. And forgiveness, forgiving yourself for mistakes and forgiving others for theirs, is about releasing grudges, letting go of resentment, moving forward. That frees up huge amounts of mental and emotional energy.
Energy you can use for growth instead of bitterness.
Exactly. Energy for constructive action. So these daily practices, honesty, humility, forgiveness woven into your life, they actively strengthen your character over time, make it robust, resilient, deeply authentic. They're like the daily maintenance and critical updates for your character OS.
Okay, here's where it gets maybe a bit sobering. If character is so vital, so foundational, what are the forces out there actively, maybe aggressively working against it today?
The headwinds, they're significant.
Our source points to some really pervasive modern challenges, things that constantly chip away at our integrity, our sincerity, often dangling, tempting, easy-looking gains. Think about relentless corporate greed, where quarterly profits seem to trump everything else. People, planet, ethics.
Short-term thinking often wins.
Yeah. Or widespread political corruption that just erodes public trust completely, makes cynicism the default. And then there's this almost pathological obsession with personal brand over actual substance.
Curated online self.
Exactly. That perfect online persona, often just a flimsy facade. Prioritizing likes, followers, shallow validation over real impact or genuine connection.
Performance over presence.
Right. And these things don't exist in a bubble, do they? They create this environment where it's incredibly tempting to compromise. Take the shortcut. Tell the convenient half-truth because, everyone else is doing it.
The pressure to conform, even unethically.
These are the moral mazes of modern business, the trust deserts of a digital age. It's tough terrain.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the AI era, it brings its own unique and maybe particularly insidious challenges to character, new battlegrounds for integrity.
How so? Like what?
Well, think about the spread of sophisticated deepfakes, the ease of generating convincing misinformation. It makes it harder and harder for anyone, leader, citizen, to tell what's real from what's fake.
Undermining truth itself.
Yes. Then there's advanced identity theft, synthetic digital personas, blurring the lines of who you're actually talking to online, fostering this pervasive distrust. And maybe most subtly, the rise of those shallow digital personas we mentioned, where our online presence is crafted for validation, often sacrificing authenticity, real connection, even truth.
So technology can amplify our worst tendencies.
It absolutely can. Our desire for attention, our willingness to bend the truth, our leaning towards superficiality, AI can put those on steroids. Especially if we're not anchored by strong internal character. It makes it easier than ever to pretend to have character, to project a false image, to mislead on a massive scale.
Which makes real character
Even more critical and rarer, and therefore more valuable. In an increasingly artificial landscape, authentic character becomes the ultimate commodity. The very tools meant to connect us can become tools of deception if used without a moral anchor.
Wow, that's a stark warning.
It is. And it raises this important question about the danger we face. As individuals, as a society, skills without values, they don't create effective leaders long term. They create destructive ones.
Destructive how?
Think about it. The sharper the skill, the more advanced the tech, the greater the potential for harm if that competence isn't guided by good character. Imagine a brilliant coder with zero integrity, using their skills to exploit systems for personal gain.
Or a master communicator manipulating public opinion.
Exactly. Their skills, far from being assets, become weapons. Tools for destruction, not creation. Manipulation, not genuine influence. It reinforces the idea that competence, while essential, is a liability if it's not rooted in integrity and sincere purpose.
The moral anchor.
Without that moral anchor, the more capable you are, the more damage you can potentially do. It's why true excellence demands both mastery of skill and mastery of self.
So what's the answer? For you, listening, navigating this.
Well, the solution, as our source material argues so powerfully, is to proactively embrace Ikhlāṣ and integrity. Not just as nice ideas or things you hope to get around to someday, but as a non-negotiable, always-on operating system for your life, for your work.
Not an optional app, but the core software.
Precisely. It's the core software that runs everything else. Just like a high-performance computer needs a robust, secure OS to run applications reliably, you need this internal OS of character to navigate modern complexities, to make sound decisions under pressure, to ensure all your skills and talents are used ethically, effectively.
It's the foundational framework, dictating how you interact, respond, the impact you have.
Exactly. It's your built-in defense against all those headwinds we just talked about.
Okay, let's unpack this practical framework then. Building what our source calls your character OS. This isn't just philosophy, right? It's about consciously integrating these principles into your daily operations, like software updates that keep improving performance, security, resilience.
Yeah, it's not passive. It's not hoping you become a person of character. It's a deliberate, actionable commitment, cultivating that robust internal architecture that guides every move, taking ownership of your internal operating system.
Okay, so what are the components? How do we make these virtues tangible day to day?
Right. So the framework breaks it down into actionable components. First, we have Ikhlāṣ, sincerity, the core instruction. Align intentions with a higher purpose.
Checking the why.
Constantly. Regularly asking yourself why you're doing something. Is it for the impact, the genuine benefit to others, or a cause you believe in? Or is it mostly for ego? For validation, applause.
An internal check.
Yes. Cultivating Ikhlāṣ means this constant self-inquiry. Before a big project, a critical email, a high-stakes meeting, pause, ask, what's my true intention here? What's the purest motive? If it leans towards personal glory over purpose, that's your OS signaling. Recalibrate.
Purify the motivation.
Exactly. Rooted in authentic value, not superficial rewards. This practice, it strengthens character, sure, but it also reduces anxiety, burnout, because your energy goes towards purpose, not just performing for others.
Okay, Ikhlāṣ align intentions. What's next?
Next is integrity, amana. This component compels you. Commit to truth in words and actions.
Truth and action aligned.
Yes. Integrity is about congruence, that seamless, unwavering alignment between what you say, what you do, and what you deeply believe. Ensuring your actions consistently reflect your stated values, whether you're in the boardroom or at the kitchen table.
How do you actively cultivate that?
Rigorous honesty in all communications, transparency in dealings, absolute reliability in keeping promises. Commit to a deadline, meet it, or communicate clearly, proactively if you can. Express a value, live it.
No gaps between words and deeds.
Any gap, any dissonance between word and deed or public and private self, that's a breach of integrity. It weakens your OS, creates friction, erodes trust. It demands that your inner and outer worlds are in perfect harmony. That creates wholeness, profound trustworthiness.
Okay. Sincerity, integrity. What's third?
Third is accountability. This means regular self-checks and feedback loops.
Taking ownership.
Radical ownership. It's not just external accountability to your boss, your team. It's primarily internal. Honest self-assessment, taking personal responsibility for mistakes without excuses, and being genuinely open to constructive feedback.
Seeing feedback is data, not criticism.
Exactly. A healthy character OS needs continuous monitoring, reviewing your performance against your internal standards of sincerity and integrity. Did I act with Ikhlāṣ today? Did I uphold mana? Where could I improve? And crucially, having the humility to seek and accept feedback. Without these honest loops, internal and external, you risk running on flawed programming.
It's like being your own compassionate auditor.
Well put.
Yeah.
Rigorous yet compassionate. Okay, and finally,
The last component.
consistency. This means you maintain the same character in public and private.
The ultimate test.
It really is the gold standard. Demonstrating the same unwavering integrity, sincerity, ethics, whether you're in a huge meeting with your family, interacting online, or just sitting alone. No on-stage versus off-stage self.
No different masks for different occasions.
No, genuine character is seamless, integrated across all parts of life. It ensures the values you talk about are the values you truly embody. That creates wholeness, authenticity, inner peace, and it builds that deep, unwavering trust from others because they know who you are consistently in every situation.
Your character precedes you.
Yeah.
Speaks for itself.
Exactly. No guessing games about your motives.
So ultimately, leadership excellence.
Yeah.
It's not just about the external stuff, the metrics, the awards, the titles.
No. Our source argues profoundly it's about upgrading your internal OS first, before you even focus on optimizing the external, building from the inside out, constructing that unshakable core.
Get the foundation right.
Get the foundation right. When your character OS is robust, secure, running on pure intentions and unwavering integrity, then all your skills, your talents, your hard work can truly flourish. Reach their greatest potential without risking collapse. It's that foundational shift, moving from just doing great things to truly being great, establishing a legacy that lasts. #3 outro. So this raises that important question to reflect on now. A synthesis of our deep dive. What are the absolute critical points we really want you to take away?
Okay, the key takeaways.
First, remember this fundamental truth. Character is the operating system. Skills are just the applications. Your core integrity determines how effectively any skill runs, how reliably it performs, whether it actually contributes to lasting value. A powerful app on a corrupted OS. At best, unstable. At worst, dangerous.
Character runs the show. Got it.
Second, Ikhlāṣ and integrity. They weren't just abstract ideals for the prophet, peace be upon him. They were his most powerful, most practical leadership tools. His incredible ability to lead, inspire, unite, even against huge odds. It was fundamentally rooted in his sincerity and trustworthiness.
Proof of their timeless power. Practical tools.
Exactly, proving they're not just ancient virtues to admire, but profoundly relevant, pragmatic tools for any leader today. Third, and maybe this is the sobering one, without character, any success you build, no matter how impressive it looks on the outside, it will eventually collapse under pressure.
Lacks a true foundation.
It just does. History is full of examples. Brilliant people whose achievements crumbled because their internal character couldn't sustain them through temptation, adversity, or just the test of time.
A cautionary tale.
And finally, in this rapidly evolving AI era we've touched on, authenticity and trust won't just be valuable, they'll become the rarest, most indispensable, most sought-after assets. As tech makes it easier to fake reality, generate synthetic everything, the genuine article, real character, real integrity, real sincerity, that will be the ultimate differentiator, the true mark of authentic leadership, personally and professionally.
Okay. Rare, valuable, indispensable. So what does this all mean for your next steps? For how you, listening, can integrate this into your own life, your leadership? We want to leave you with a few prompts for reflection, for action, straight from our source material, really, to help you start proactively upgrading your own character OS. Not just thinking about it, but doing it.
Making it practical.
Right. First, maybe take a moment today, right after this. Write down your top 3 intentions for a project you're on, or even just an important conversation you need to have this week. Then, honestly, check. Are they truly for a higher purpose? For real impact? Or are you, maybe secretly, even subtly, working for applause, recognition, a personal win? That's your daily Ikhlāṣ check.
A quick, honest look within.
Second, audit your own trust record. Think back. Recent weeks, months, where might you have inadvertently, maybe even unconsciously, broken trust with someone? colleague, client, family, friend? And crucially, where can you actively work to rebuild it, starting today? Maybe just a small, sincere gesture. That's your ongoing Amana audit.
Repairing and strengthening trust.
Third, think about starting a daily character OS check. Just a quick mental scan at the end of the day, maybe before you unwind. Was I sincere today? In my motives, my interactions? Was I truthful, words and actions? Was I consistent across my roles, work, home, community? Just a moment of conscious, gentle course correction.
Building that self-awareness muscle.
And finally, choose just one area, one specific thing where you'll deliberately practice integrity this week, even if it feels like it might cost you something short-term. Or make things a bit harder. Maybe it's owning up to a mistake fully, or sticking to a commitment when an easier, less principled option appears. Remember, those small, consistent acts of integrity, they build the big, unshakable character.
It's an investment.
It's an investment that always pays the highest dividends in the long run.
And perhaps connecting this to the bigger picture one last time, considering the accelerating pace of technology, those blurring lines between real and simulated that AI is bringing so rapidly, how might our personal character OS be tested in ways we haven't even imagined yet?
Future challenges.
What does this mean for the future of human connection itself? For trust? When perceived reality can be digitally twisted and authenticity becomes so rare, and maybe the most important question for you, how will you prepare for that future? How will you ensure your inner operating system is robust enough to navigate the profound ethical challenges ahead? In a world struggling to tell the real from the artificial, the sincere from the simulated,
That ultimately is the question.
that defines our readiness for tomorrow.